Podcast Edition 3 Q&A. I have been interested in your low stamp kicks for many years after undertaking short-term training before moving overseas. I come from a martial arts type self-defense background and found that the stamp kicks your people instruct are nothing like that of other styles made up of traditional fighting arts techniques. Can you please explain some of the background around your stamp kicks? Answer. Phase 1 Basic is not only the entry level training but also includes all the fundamentals and capabilities to neutralise wide-ranging threats. In our European military CQC and MSD, there is a logical reason for all primary skill selection, and skills are instructed in order of necessity in relation to PEEP's needs and requirements, roles and duties. The individual skills are developed, proven and selected based on effectiveness and safety. There is a logical order of skills delivery, and for basic Phase 1 CQC and MSD, unarmed offensive actions are the first delivered skill sets. This is because effectively employed unarmed offensive actions provide the quickest and earliest means of threat neutralisation. Some of the logic behind stamp kicks include that they can be executed at everything from unarmed offensive actions on long range to point blank bodily contact range in a confined environment. With the leg being the longest extremity and the boot being far more resilient than the hands or any other part of the body, stamp kicks provide increased safety and maximise chances of threat neutralisation. Many people we train come from traditional fighting arts or competitive codes, and the closest technique they have been taught to a stamp kick is a traditional martial arts side kick. You will know from your training in the Todd systems that the stamp kicks are completely different to such side kicks, and there are a full range of stamp kicks to fit with specific roles, duties and individuals' physical and mental makeup. The boot is a most important part of stamp kicking as it provides protection and increased destructive effect. The old CQC adage is very fitting: bare feet are for bathing, boots are for combat. The stamp kicks are executed with the major bones of the leg in a correct alignment, including the foot. The arch of the foot is used to encapsulate the shin bones below the kneecap. Grounded enemy stamp kicks executions use the heel of the boot to maximize destructive capabilities. The hard toe of the boot is used to path clear by pain compliance, as the mind follows pain, and autonomic mechanisms of self-preservation by reaction invoke disengagement. Oblique stamp kicks utilize the inner arch of the boot. Stamp kicks on approximately a 45-degree angle are delivered below the knee directly through the target to the ground by means of expedient momentum generation. European MIL CQC stamp kicks are not retracted, as they are for body mass momentum generation to maximize effect, including destructive effects. There are wide-ranging stamp kicks for different situations and uses that all come down to objective achievement requirements. The stamp kicks include for strategies and all contingency options, from making range to the distractive and disruptive, including dirty tricks, setups and follow-throughs. There are contingencies from the initiation of the ground cover stalking to make range through to specific stamp kick, setup, initiation and execution, and for wide-ranging Murphy's Law contingency option requirements. The kicks can be employed in a telephone box at point-blank bodily contact range or from as many as 2 meters away. The target is a very important part of the effectiveness of stamp kicks executions. Targeting the enemy's lead leg with their lead foot being the closest and most exposed bodily target provides increased safety, and with the destruction of the kneecap or knee joint ligaments a primary means of enemy incapacitation. With the lower leg bone being so close to the surface, and with the combat boot being so hard and the sole of the boot sharp-edged, hard contact achieves instantaneous pain and pain-related reactions. There are stamp kicks from neutral stances maintaining the element of surprise through to compromised front and side stances and guards to maximize initiation and execution safety and levels of objective achievement. There are stamp kicks for evasion and escape, as well as for escape and evasion options. Then there are stamp kicks for the battlefield to provide increased ground cover capabilities, especially on difficult terrain. There are a range of stamp kicks using deception, distraction, and foul means of interfering with visual and mental focus, increasing the chances of quick threat neutralization. There are stamp kicks specific to causing incapacitation, decentralization, or pain reactionary disengagement movements under stand-up, clinching, grappling, or wrestling threats. Fast mapping assessment on initiation and execution of a decided stamp kick option provides the capability to, under actions on, assess, decide, and employ contingency options to deal with changes in threat and situation. All this increases combatant confidence, and with increased confidence and commitment, momentum is increased, and as a result of destructive output, maximizes chances of threat neutralization by means of destroying the integrity of the kneecap or knee joint ligaments. Stamp kicks can be employed from stand-up, kneeling, lying down positions, and also for a wide range of threat-specific neutralization capabilities. Path clearing, weapon retention, unarmed counteroffensive assault threat neutralization by means of stamp kicks, incapacitation, as well as part of non-ballistic weapons employment strategies are all enhanced by the employment of stamp kicks. In a stationary counteroffensive assault actions on by means of hard cover guarding and combating a kick with a stamp kick, either to the stability leg or the kicking leg, whichever presents itself first or is closest, is a primary practical means of countering a kick by combating the kick with the hard sole of a combat boot. The required force levels to destroy the integrity of the kneecap or knee joint ligaments is a fraction of what a combatant can generate with a properly executed stamp kick, and when combined with the effects of a hard-soled combat boot, the chance of enemy incapacitation are maximized. Taking out the closest and most exposed bodily part, being the forward leg and foot, with the debilitating, incapacitating provided capabilities, maximizes putting an end to hostilities or escape and evasion by enemy decentralization, which also leaves them vulnerable to ground neutralization. With the stamp kick being a low forward and downward force generated action, requirements are considerably less dynamic movements and fit with battle dress requirements and realities, as well as in civilian self-defense situations, the capability to execute stamp kicks even in formal dress or restrictive clothing. Often, traditionalists on a journey to find more effective self-defense skills ask why there are no head kicks in MIL CQC for the battlefield, and the given explanation is always the only effective head kicks in relation to threat and role are stamping head kicks or toe of boot head kicks on a grounded enemy. There are various specific stamp kicks executions for different military roles and different environments, including land, air, and sea. On land, for uneven or slippery terrain, as well as for crowd combat, including against multiple enemy combatants. Air, as in when there is airspace between the soles of your boots and a hard surface, including under rappelling, hanging from a harness, or when climbing. Sea, in relation to amphib CQC usage, from the deck of a rolling vessel to the sand of a beach, as well as for amphib assault actions on with your boots on the seabed or when treading water. There are stamp kicking skills for uses from vehicles and for extracting enemy purrs from vehicles. There are stamp kicking skills for path clearing and variations for rapid decentralization without compromising the kneecap or knee joint ligaments. There are stamp kicking skills for mechanical restraints applications and for downed enemy control and containment. There are stamp kicks for load-bearing combatants' increased capabilities. Importantly, with all stamp kicking individual skills being of the same system and employed from the same stances or stances and guards by means of the same methods of ground cover, enemy orientation, and destructive components, they all share commonality, making them cohesive and maximizing effect and minimizing momentum drops, hesitation, or stalling. The stamp kicks enable trained combatants to be able to neutralise entire threat categories, either by unarmed offensive assault stamp kicks or unarmed counter-offensive assault stamp kicks, and this reduces confusion and decision-making time. Less is more, and maximum destruction is more objective achievement guaranteed. I hope this provides an insight into the wide-ranging scope of our European military long-range unarmed offensive assault primary signature skill sets.